Welcome, one and all. Congratulations. By far, the biggest turnout we've ever had for this monthly call. So that kudos to Chad for getting the notice out to you, and thank you guys for such a good turnout. Just so you know, those of you that haven't been on one of these before, the Thursday call is kind of an open forum for questions, issues, any place with any part of the probate leads or our system or anywhere you're getting stuck. And this is similar, but this is kind of like Jeopardy. We'd like you to phrase it in the form of a question. So on these calls, if you do have a place you're getting stuck, we would love for you to step up and role play with one of us, and probably Chad. This is a situation where we could actually, the intent of this call is places that you guys are getting stuck, calling and contacting and having conversations with these people, and how we can help each other, be more efficient at getting that done. So I don't know if I mentioned, but today is September 7th, 2016, and this is role play number 11. Chad, we have one person in the queue, guys. Please, we need more than one participant. Hit *6 and hit 1 if you'd like to participate. And Chad, anything you want to say before we get started?
No, just please, guys. If you came here with any hesitancy, get rid of it. This is for the benefit of all of us to learn. And if you're hearing objections that you not quite know how to answer, and I guess what I'm saying is don't wait for somebody else to ask your question. So this is for the month of September. This is the one role play call. So step up. We do have one person in the queue. It's phone number ending in 5946. And all right, 5946.
You're up, Vanessa. You're up.
I'm up. Okay. And I have a call coming in. Okay, so the most frequent objection I'm getting is that the PR, they want to leave out the property. So I'm not sure what's a good way to handle that objection.
We're getting a lot of feedback, Vanessa. Do you have it on a headset or a speakerphone? Much better. Would you say that again, please?
Okay, sorry about that. So, yeah, the most frequent objection that I'm getting is that the PR or the owner of the property or the family member, they want to lease it out. And so I'm not sure what's the best way to handle that. And I notice I get stuck a lot of times and I just, kind of rush off the phone.
Vanessa, what market are you in? What part of the country?
I'm in L.A.
Wow, that's interesting because in my market, I don't think I ever heard that. So that's probably pretty regionally isolated. I guess maybe your rents are so high. Your rents are so high and your property's going up so fast in value. But why don't you go ahead and role play that with Chad? We'll put him on the spot. So you give Chad that answer, and let's see what he comes up with. Chad, call Vanessa, please.
Okay. So I'm not gonna go through the intro, but so Vanessa, is there a home in the estate that you guys would like to sell or you could use some help with?
Well, we're trying to figure out what we want to do with the property, but I'm pretty sure we're just going to lease it out.
Okay. Well, hey, I can certainly understand that. Rents are kind of crazy right now, huh?
Yeah, and we think that we actually might, profit from renting it out instead of just selling it.
You can make money over time. A lot of people choose to just sell the home, but you can definitely make money over time as a landlord. Let me ask you this: do you have a plan for the rental, or kind of a strategy, or is this your first rental? Or are you adding it to existing portfolio?
It would be my first rental, but I know other family members that have done it, and they've had successes with it. So I figured it might work for us.
It does for some people. It's more of I think, more of a lifestyle decision, and it really depends on whether you plan to use a property manager or whether you plan to manage yourself. If you're going to manage yourself, that comes with a certain amount of headaches. And if you're going to use a manager, then obviously there's a management fee there. We actually work with a lot of investors. It's a big part of our business. So we know the property management companies in town, and we know the ins and outs of the rental business. If you'd like, I can kind of run the numbers, do my homework, and I can kind of show you what a for sale scenario would look like. versus a long-term hold scenario. Is that something that, would you find value in that if I could do that for you?
Yeah, I'd be interested in looking at that.
Okay. So, I mean, it never hurts to look at your options, and you'll kind of get a look at, well, what if we were going to sell it? Well, I've got some time on Friday. We try to meet on Fridays and Mondays. I've got one spot at 3. I mean, would it, between now and then I can do what I need to do. Would you be able to meet up for 30 minutes or so on Friday?
Sure, but I kind of just want to take a look at what you mentioned. That way I could see the difference between selling it and keeping it, and then figure out if we want to meet.
What you'll find when you see what I'm going to prepare is I'm the biggest dork in L.A. So without me there to kind of explain, what we're going to do is called a market absorption analysis. And if you've never really gone through a property analysis, it can be a bit overwhelming and kind of useless if you don't know what you're looking for. So we're going to do a cap rate analysis and look at the market cap rate on the rental market, but we're also going to do a market absorption analysis and look at it as a retail sale. And if all that's over your head, that's fine. That's what I'm here for. But it is something that I prefer to do in person because I don't just want to give you a sheet full of numbers and you get no value from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So would that spot on Friday at 3 work, or do we want to look at Monday?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, real quick, let me ask you a few questions about the actual property before I go, and then I would go into the rest of the interview. But so what I did there is I kind of painted the picture of, I still gave you options. I gave you value that, like, you probably didn't expect a realtor to compare the sale to the rental. And if you end up renting it, I'm just going to refer you to a property management company that I know. I'm not going to try to manage it for you or anything. But there's a real good chance once they understand the pain points of managing a rental, that they will just cash out. I think a lot of people, in my experience, think they want to be landlords until they become a landlord and experience the problems, or until they hear about the problems and then realize, you know what, we could just sell this and plow that money into other investments. That's something that's way easier on it. So it's the rental market, being a landlord looks really attractive from the outside. Jim knows. Jim has a ton of experience in that. So if you feel like that they're not really ready to be landlords, I would, try to sway them, I wouldn't try to sway them. I would give them options and just show them what it looks like to sell today versus renting and, dealing with the tenant issues and everything that comes along with that.
Vanessa, are most of these people, I'm assuming these are people that are local. I would assume the absentee owners.
Yeah, the ones who want to lease it out. Yeah, they're pretty much local, but I get the feeling that they don't, really know what they're getting into. And most of them sound like they have their own lives and their own jobs going on and family. So, but that's good. It gives me some perspective on how to respond to that now. So. And
the other thing I did, like I play the analytical card just to overwhelm you just a bit, so you.
Yeah, and I liked that because
holy crap! I think I need to hear this guy out. So I don't want to email you something. I want to sit in front of you and overwhelm you and show you the value that I can bring. And then I want to really simplify it and say, but here's our strategy. And I'll do that in person, and I'll build rapport while doing that. So I purposefully geeked out on you there. So I meant to go over your head so you would let me come to your house and meet with you.
Right. Got it. Well, thank you.
Well, Vanessa, you have another 19 minutes, or we need to get somebody else to participate.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I actually got to run, so that's why I wanted to be the first one.
All right. Thank you so much, Vanessa.
Please, all right, bye.
Please, guys, we've got a record number of people on this call. No question is off bounds, out of base, out of bounds, whatever. Off base, out of bounds. But there's nothing that we won't answer, even if it is just in a generic question. Please hit *6 and then hit 1. In the meantime, Chad, I'll hit you with something that's come up. Probably the most common. This is the 11th one of these calls, I believe, and we do have another person in the queue. So let's go to them first. And we have another person in the queue. Your phone number ending in 4344. Chad, you want to activate them?
Sure. 4344.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Listen, I'm new at this, and I haven't a clue as to how to start doing this? I know this is a real, major, stupid, or basic question, but how does one get going in this and get started in this particular facet of who do you go to and how do you get the information?
So you're not a subscriber yet, correct?
Right.
Okay, so yeah, we invite guests on this call also. The first step would be call me and 954.
So let me write it down, please. Hold on a second. Okay.
All right. My name is Jim.
Jim.
And we will, and don't go away because we'll role play what to do once you get started with you. As long as you volunteered, we'll leave you on the hot seat for a minute. But
okay.
Call me 954.
Got it.
584.
Okay.
0000 extension 203, and I'll walk you through the whole program. And what's your first name?
Cecile.
Cecile, you're going to get, once you become a subscriber, you're going to get names, addresses, and phone numbers of everybody in your market that just inherited property. The recommended program we highly recommend is you can send a letter out, or we'll send a letter out for you, and we have samples that you can use. And then wait about 3 or 4 days, and then follow up with a phone call. Assume, that it takes about 3 or 4 days to get a letter delivered. And it's much less of a cold call that way. It's much more of a warm call. When you say, hey, this is Cecile, wanted to make sure you got my letter, wanted to make sure you understand what it is we have to offer, when do you think you'll be ready to sell the property? It's a much warmer call that way. And we keep hearing time after time after time. On last week's mastermind call, we had a gentleman, he was our 4th customer I think we've had in New York City, New York, the most competitive market in the country. And the other 3 were relying on mail, and they didn't have any success. And he had been with us 6 days, and he'd already set 6 appointments. And he kind of confirmed what we always tell agents. If you're in a competitive market, they're getting a bunch of letters. So if you just send a letter, you're going to get lost in the mix. You really are. You're going to be one of 20 letters that they receive. If you send a letter, you follow up with a phone call, you're probably going to be the only person calling them. There certainly is not going to be certainly going to be a lot better at FSBOs or expireds. It's much less competitive. Do you want to role play that with us, or you want to wait till you get your leads and come back? All right.
Sure.
All right. So call Chad, or Chad, call Cecile, and she just got one of your letters, and role play that with her if you would.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Cecile?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Cecile. My name's Chad Corbett. I had actually sent you a letter late last week, and I just wanted to follow up and make sure you got that and you understood why we sent it. You remember seeing that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you have any questions? Is there anything that we can help you with? I mean, do you understand all the services we offer to families who?
Well, and that's it. I guess that question is a little bit difficult for me to answer right now because I don't have the letter in front of me. But I inherited this property. My brother died, and so I'm now, I guess, somewhat. I'm not quite sure what to do. I feel like I might be stuck with this. That it's going to be a big headache, and I'm just not sure exactly what to do with it. I do recall receiving your letter, but quite now, I have gotten a number of letters from a number of people. So, I'm really, in a position where I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't, kind of thing. And I really don't know which way to go.
So the reason we call is because we realize there's probably 50 postcards on the coffee table that say, we buy houses, we'll give you 50 cents on the dollar kind of thing. And we like to follow the phone call just so people understand what it is we do. And I'll just take a couple of minutes. I mean, what we do, we've built a team of people specifically to help you and the way you feel right now. What we find is most of our clients are just completely overwhelmed. They're not sure where to start. They don't know if they should rent the property, sell the property, if they can even sell it, what it's even worth. There's just so many questions because you're tasked with so many things as the personal representative. So what we've done, we realized that we've helped so many families. We actually have built a team just to focus on taking most of that off your plate, and even beyond the scope of the real estate. I mean, we can help with anything from if you do want to sell the home in a week for cash, we've got investors to do that. We have contractors. We can help get the home fixed up and in the best condition for the highest price. We can even help you do a complete renovation if you would want to do that. And, there's plenty of other things we can do. Even after the real estate is sold, we can help you lay out the estate plans for yourself so you don't have to go through that, your family doesn't have to go through this in the future. It really starts with us just kind of understanding your goals. Like, we already know your frustrations. It really just starts with me understanding your goals, and I can make some suggestions, and you can make a choice what the best way is to work together. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That sounds like at least a start for me.
Yeah. Well, let me ask. I know you're the executor or the executrix. Are there other decision makers or anyone that you feel like should be part of this decision?
That's the problem. There isn't anybody else, and I'm the only, living relative, and so that's again, why I'm, leery as to how to go about this and to make the right decision.
Okay. Well, what we like to do is take our time and do the research, and when we meet up, we'll prepare options for you. So we're going to look at every possible scenario. What does it look like as a cash sale, an as-is sale, a retail sale, and sometimes even a rental? So I've got a spot on Friday at 3 o'clock. Does it look like something you could do? Could we meet at the house on Friday?
I do have that time open, definitely. If you can do that, that would be great.
Cool. Well, I'll put you down. If anything changes, just let me know. Before I let you go, though, so I can be prepared for our appointment, let me ask you a few questions about the house, and then I'll break role play. So I've got the rest of the day to talk about the house, the finances, and everything else. So,
Cecile, for not having done this, you played a pretty good seller.
You did a really good job.
Thank you. That's
You're
awesome.
welcome.
Thank you for contributing. We have 2 more people in the queue. That's great.
Nice.
Let's see. Phone number ending in 9638. You are up next. Do you want me to go ahead and activate her, Chad?
Yeah, because my thing just disconnected. So.
Okay. Phone number ending in 9638. You're up.
Great. It's Penny Parker in Phoenix. How are you guys?
Great, Penny. How about you?
I'm doing great. So I have an unusual scenario. I've talked about this before. My mom does estate sales, so she got a lead, and she always asks them if they have a real estate agent. And this guy went on about how he's going to sell it himself. So I'm just going to tag along on the appointment just to see if I can convert him. So he didn't want to talk to me or anything, but I'm just going to show up with her. So what is the spin scenario I can put on it? I mean, I know the typical response. I've converted for sale by owners before. So I was just wondering Chad, what you would have to say about that towards the probate end.
So you're gonna show up as an estate sale representative, but you just happen to have a real estate license and be really good at listing houses, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would find his pain point and I would let your mom build rapport or you build rapport as the estate sale representative. And throughout the conversation, whichever direction it goes, what I recommend is find a pain point, because most people think it's it's so easy to sell a house. All you do is put a sign in the yard and buyers run all over you. So what he may not know about is FHA loan restrictions like peeling paint, broken glass, any kind of those things that can really blow up a loan. He might not know that 40% of loans fall out of underwriting, or declined in underwriting. He may not know that there's a lot of liability attached to selling a home on his own. He may not know that you should syndicate it to 100 different websites to get the most coverage. So I would try to highlight what he, and he doesn't know what he doesn't know. That's what you've got to highlight for him. So I would find an opening in the conversation somewhere to ask him what his plan is. And maybe, and I wouldn't lie about this, but if you legitimately have a buyer that's interested, I might even say, well, listen, I've got a buyer that's interested in this, but before I tell them, I mean, gosh, I would be kind of working against you in that case. I'm going to negotiate in her corner, not yours. I mean, would you want to talk about me helping you? And, or, you know, it's hard to tell. There's so many different ways the conversation could go. But I would try the angle of, you know, finding his weak point and something he hasn't thought of, a problem he's not aware of yet, and then show him how you can be the solution to that problem.
Right, and there's got to be extra liability of selling a probate, you know, for sale by owner.
Well, it probably depends if there's other heirs. You know, you're certainly obligated to the other heirs. I would think the executor would be to do the best possible job. Do you see? I mean, there's always liability as a seller. You know,
sure.
If you make a mistake, you could get sued. The contract should, you know, if you don't negotiate a good contract, if you give take a small deposit, there's a lot of different ways. But especially if there's multiple heirs, you know, you may want to key on that. Hey, you're responsible to your brothers and sisters to do the best possible job. And I'm just curious. I mean, there's 10,000 agents in our board of realtors that I could expose this to and put you on numerous websites. Would you rather do that, or just kind of put a sign in the yard and see who drives by? Kind of reduce it to
hope
the level,
for the best, right?
Yeah, reduce to the level of the ridiculous. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you're not telling them all that's stupid, but you're kind of giving them an example that it might not be the smartest way to go.
Exactly. Okay, great. You've given me some extra ideas, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Great timing too, Chad. We got 7 or 8 minutes, and we got one more person in the queue, so let me open them up. Phone number ending in 3458. You're up.
Hi, this is Lisa from the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. How are you?
Hey, Lisa. Great.
Good.
I'm going to be at your Texas Realtors Convention on Friday. I don't know if you're going in Galveston. You coming?
Great. No, I'm not. I'm busy working. Sorry.
I think you should make a trip down there just to say hi to me. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll be with you in spirit.
Thank you. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm brand new. I just signed up, and I haven't gotten my first batch of leads yet. And I've been told to expect 200 to 300 or more leads per month from my Tarrant County market. And what I'm wondering is how should I spread my calls out over the month for this batch that I got all of them, you know, at one time, and the letters probably will go out all at one time, like let's say, for instance, the beginning of the month, let's say, and then it will take me time to call all of them. I'm wondering, should I put every one of them in my database, in my CRM, or somehow pick them out, or what?
So are you a mega prospector, kind of good at it, never done it? Like, how often do you make calls out?
All the time. I mean, I live and breathe calls. I do them in my sleep while I'm standing on my head, upside down. Yeah.
So on a typical day, if you have a good source for phone numbers, on a typical day, how many people do you call?
Well, this morning, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, nearly 30 numbers dialed, but today I just got a lot of voicemails. But, yeah, I mean, certainly I can dial more if they don't answer. But if I have good conversations, which is what I want, then fewer numbers, you know.
So let's say 30 is a safe, realistic number for you. It sounds like you've got the discipline to maintain that. So you've got 10 days worth of phone calls, right?
Mm-hmm. But if all of those answered the phone, I wouldn't be able to make 30 calls. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm going to engage them in conversation.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, what I would do is, this is not as time sensitive as like a FSBO or an expired. And if that's where you kind of cut your teeth and learn to prospect, you got to kind of let go of that mindset. Like, I appreciate a bulldog prospector, but it's really so different that it's not beneficial for you to be that persistent sometimes in probate. So it's okay that if you send a letter and spread your calls over 10 days, it's going to be okay, because you never know which ones are going to want to sell tomorrow and which ones are going to want to wait 6 months. And if you have to take some time, even if you have to take the whole month to call them, it's better than not calling. to make the contact. But don't feel like you've got this super short fuse and that your leads are going to expire in the next 30 days, because that's just not true.
Okay.
I mean, they oftentimes, when you get started, you'll list houses 2, 3, 4, 5 months after you send letters. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Keep that discipline of just block out 2 hours a day and say, I'm going to do this for as long as it takes. But don't feel like they're any less valuable because you couldn't get to them quick enough. Because they're not. I
see. So then, should I put all of those into my CRM and I can build workflows to tell me a pattern of when to call them and follow up in different ways?
Which CRM do you use?
I'm using RealVault, which is great because I can make custom workflows designed to fit exactly what I want to do with these particular types of contacts, leads. That matches. Yeah.
Hopefully within 2 weeks, we'll be delivering your leads directly into a probate specific CRM that you can prospect directly from there. The problem with the high lead count you have, you're going to be putting 300 leads a month in there.
Yeah.
That's gonna get big fast, and I feel like what I don't want you to do is junk up your database where you can't find your SOI or your past clients. So if you look under subscriber resources, step 3, there's a video for how you can use a Google Sheet as a really basic CRM that has your call dates and mail dates. It's like a 6-minute video. It'll show you how to make a real simple version. If you ever decide that you don't like that, you can just simply do a lead import from the Google Sheet. So there's no work lost if you want to import it into your system later. That's what I recommend for right now to bridge you until we get the new system up. Once the new system's up, all the phone numbers will be loaded, the PRs, and all the information on the PR, the information on the attorney, everything will kind of be broken out.
Great.
So we're very, very close to having a really good solution that's better than doing, managing in your own CRM.
That's great because another question I didn't think of to ask just now, but I had wondered about the mapping of the fields from the data that I get from you guys into my system and, all that, those unique kind of contact data points. I'm not sure that all that would be there.
I would say for this month, watch that video and set it up in Google Sheets and manage it, and then we will take care of your problem once we roll out the new system. You won't have to worry about it.
Super.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Well, that is
terrific.
Perfect timing. We are right at 30 minutes. And what I was going to mention, guys, is probate quicksand. And we don't have time enough to get into that. But if any of you have not, if this is the first time you've been on one of these calls, go back and listen to the last one and the one before it. I think the last 3, we've talked about something different every time. The last one we talked about probate quicksand, and that's basically people that just are in a stalling pattern. They're just not quite ready to make a decision. There was some great interaction. And Chad, would you tell them real quick where to find the previous calls if anybody wants to go back and listen to those?
Sure. So right now the best place to access all the archived role play or mastermind calls, if you go to All the Leads Mastermind, it's our Facebook group. So All the Leads Mastermind. And then in the top right, you'll see a little search bar that says search this group. Type in the words role play, and that will bring all 10, 11 as soon as I get this posted. But it'll bring all those calls to the top. And I post each one with an image, so you'll see like a role play image, and then there's a mastermind image for the mastermind calls. But yeah, so number 8 and number 9 were both really good calls that kind of address what Jim's talking about, and you'll hear us talk about how to, apply pressure when needed, when somebody's not acting in their own best interest, how to apply pressure to help them through, that procrastination.
Thank you so much, everybody. I got to hop on another call. I always like to end these calls. First of all, please come to our open forum call tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific. And I always like to end these calls by thanking everybody for taking a half hour out of your life and challenging you and thank you so much for everybody who participated. But take one idea, one thought, one thing you learned from today's call, and go out and put it into action, and come back every Thursday and share your results with us. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.